Hey, welcome to Digging into the Bible. My name is Jim Barnard. This is a production of Tiller Coaching. All right, well, it's lucky day number 72. Thank you for joining me. We saw yesterday that Jesus left us with a giant cliffhanger. His exact words were, "See, my betrayer is at hand," and it's true. Judas has come, and he's already earned the reward for betraying him. He's going to follow through, and it's so sad to me. I mean, Jesus, throughout this entire gospel, has done nothing but miraculous works and amazing healings and cared for people and shown them the way. And yet, one of his own can't handle it. He's so indignant about who Jesus is and what's happened, and it's just such a shame, man. I mean, all of this gospel has been pointing towards this moment, but it's finally here. I mean, even as Jesus has been calling his shot and Judas has been hearing this, the shot is finally here. It's unbelievable. So with that as the lead-in, let's go ahead and dig in. This is Matthew chapter 26, starting at verse 47. While he was still speaking, Judas came, one of the 12, and with him a great crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I kiss is the man, seize him." And he came up to Jesus at once and said, "Greetings, Rabbi." And he kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you came to do." And behold, one of those who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back into place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then should the scriptures be fulfilled, that it must be so?" At that hour, Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to capture me? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. But all this has taken place that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples left him and fled. All right, so how about Matthew here protecting this disciple who was so zealous and pulls out his sword and chops off an ear? I'm just going to give you, there's three guesses, right? There's Peter, there's John, and there's James. Who do you think was the one that really went after it here? Of course it was Peter, because this dude petered out once again. He pulls out his sword with such enthusiasm. He's like, "Ah!" And I'm sure he's not "I know, I'm going to get his ear." It makes me think of that line in Austin Powers. What is it? Who throws a shoe? Really? You cut off an ear? That was the retribution? You're supposed to be just stabbing people through the heart, chopping off heads. But yet, in this moment of zealousness, he's ready to roll, and then he just gets an ear. He absolutely petered out, and I love it. So consistent. And Matthew tried to protect him, and that's nice of him as a friend to do that. But the Gospel of John spells it out pretty specifically that it was Peter. So I guess, it's all said and done. We can't go back on it now, right? So it's just so sad to me that Judas has betrayed him, and he is keeping up this facade of being a disciple, right? He comes up to Jesus and greets him with a kiss and says, "Greetings, Rabbi." Don't come at me with that. You're kidding me with that, right? That's crazy. You should be the one coming after me with a sword, but you're coming up to me all fake and all sweet and innocent, and yet no part of this is sweet and or innocent. It's just really disgusting. And it makes me just realize that when we get our motives focused on ourselves, and we, sometimes when we know that it's not edifying or right or good, we will try to keep it hidden from people, won't we? We will try to keep it on the down low, and Judas is doing that here. It's just odd to me, but so Judas, comes up and kisses him, and Jesus is seized, and really, it's a good point. Jesus could call the legions of angels and protect himself. That could happen in a moment's notice, but he's okay. It's all right. Jesus knows that this is part of the plan, right? So that makes it a lot easier. But even if he didn't know that this was part of the plan, even if he wasn't like calling the shot for chapters and chapters of this gospel, it just seems like he has such a faith in his Father that his Father is for him and with him. And, it makes me realize that, I think that God wrote an amazing story here, but he's writing an amazing story in my life, and I believe he's writing an amazing story in your life. But every story has to come with adversity. It has to come with those plot thickening moments. And on the other side of those moments, there's typically redemption or victory or whatever. And we'll see that here in this story, but I believe that in our lives, like God is writing a story in our lives, but it's going to involve being betrayed. It's going to involve suffering. It's going to involve pain. It's going to involve expectation gaps. And we don't like that, but it is the moment where we can trust God the most and, put our faith in him fully. Jesus is demonstrating that here and just going with it. It's going to be okay. It's far from ideal. How great would it be just to still have Jesus with us? Well, that wasn't our decision. And you know what? We get to have Jesus with us, for all of eternity if we do this the right way. So, all right, that's what I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue on with Matthew chapter 26. I'll see you then.